Hey everybody, it's Tuesday, November 22nd, and this is my third take on this video. So I ought to be getting really good at it, except I keep forgetting what I said the other time, and so I have to just kind of completely start over with my thought process and all. So I will try to talk faster though, because I was making it too long before. That's one of the reasons I stopped. And I'm getting lots of distractions from my window today. And things were popping up on my screen a minute ago. And I would turn my phone on airplane mode, but every time I do that, I forget to turn it off of airplane mode. So we'll just take our chances this time. So I wanted to talk to you guys again just for a minute about sponsoring some of the J6 political prisoners. There are about 80 something on their list, I think. And from what I can tell, there's only about 25, maybe 30 that have sponsors. And if you're interested in it, I can send you the information that I've got. No commitment, because I just screenshotted it, and so I can send that to you. There are some of them that need more help than others, because they don't have any family support or anything. And so if you are afraid that you can't take care of them by yourself or whatever, get somebody to team up with you and do a sponsorship, and you can both send money and write them letters, send them cards, books, things, whatever. So I spent way too much time stressing out over who I was going to sponsor. I told one of the girls on Telegram, I have a real problem with decisions, particularly when a list is really too long or too big. There's too many choices, and I really do. You ought to see me on Amazon. It'll take me a month to order one thing, because I've been looking back and forth a gazillion times. So anyway, but I finally decided on Thomas T.J. Robertson. He is from Virginia, and he is in Pennsylvania, in one of the prisons there. He's been sentenced to 7 years, over 7 years, I think. And he is a veteran he was in Iraq in the war, and then he was in Afghanistan as a Department of Defense contractor, where he was basically, his Give, Sing, Go says he was blown up, literally blown up. And it took him a long time to get back to health. But then he's also been a law enforcement officer, and that's, I think, what he was most recently doing. He's lost that job. But anyway, they've told me that he's just very appreciative of anything you can help him with. And so, for whatever reason, we'll say the Lord directed me. I don't know. That's who I chose. And so, again, I really encourage you to do that. And for me, see, I've been like, okay, I need to give to this one, and I need to give to that one, and this one, and I can't give to everybody. And so I'm just going to try to focus my efforts on this guy. And if we can get somebody to do that for all of them, that would be great. So again, if you're interested, put it in the comments. I will send you my email address, or I'll put my email address there. I guess I could just put it in the description by now. It's been on the chats and all that stuff, so I don't guess it really matters. I can put it in the description, and you can email me and let me know if you're interested, and I will send you information. So that's that. The other thing, one thing, I got a gimbal. It's just a really cheapo one, to see if I can learn how to use it and all that stuff. But I tried it out just a little bit last night, playing with it, and so maybe I'll do another video of downtown soon and let y'all see how it works, show it out. So anyway, I wanted to share a really neat praise report with you guys. It's not about the J6ers, but it came about because of them. So I mentioned on one of my last videos about a group called the Warrior's Journey. And I had contacted them to see if they could help with our J6 veterans. And they're definitely willing to. I'm having trouble getting people to contact them, which is frustrating. But I did send a message yesterday, or I think it was I don't know, Sunday night, maybe. Anyway, to James McGrew's mom. She's on Telegram, and so I was able to send a direct message to her on there. And she did. She answered me yesterday, and she said that she would contact the gentleman at the Warrior's Journey. So, anyway, in corresponding with him back and forth in emails and all, I was telling him about a friend of mine here in my town that I know from the church I used to go to, and he is an Iraq war veteran as well. Sounds a lot like this guy I'm sponsoring, and then he went to Afghanistan as a contractor. He didn't get injured over there, but he has really severe PTSD, really severe. He's 100% disabled because of his PTSD. And he and his wife and his family, they're precious. And so ever since I've known him, I've wanted to help him somehow, because I see how he struggles, and they're very open about it, which I appreciate that they're very transparent about his struggles. So he recently just took up golfing, and he found an organization called the Veteran Golfers Association, and he wanted to join that and start doing some of their tournaments and all, but his income's limited because he's on the military disability or whatever. So I helped him raise some money for that. And so anyway, so I was telling this man at the Warrior's Journey about him, and just saying that, hey, I think he could really benefit from some of y'all's resources. Can you recommend? They've got books and stuff like that. And so I said, can you recommend something to start with? Well, I went home at lunch that day, and my phone rang, and it was a strange area code, and like probably so many of you guys, I didn't answer it. For one, lunchtime is my nap time, so I didn't want to get into a conversation with somebody, interrupt my nap. But two, I just didn't know the number. So he left a voicemail, and he told me that they had a slot open up in this event that they do called, I think it's called Inspired Golf, or Inspired Golfers, something along those lines. Anyway, and he wanted to know if this man might be interested in it, and he was telling me that it's in Florida, it's all expenses paid, they will be playing with celebrities, and just all this neat stuff. And I was like, oh my gosh, that is so cool. So he told me he was going to be at a meeting for about an hour and a half, so I just emailed him back and said, let me get with him and see if he's interested, which I couldn't imagine that he wouldn't be. And so I emailed him, I sent him a message that said, call me ASAP. So he called me, and I was telling him about it. He's like, are you serious? So I told him all about it, and he said, yeah, I'm interested. So I sent the guy his phone number, and they ended up talking later that afternoon. And so he said, the wheels are turning. I was like, cool. So I messaged him the other night and said, hey, what's the latest? What's the status? He said, oh, I'm going. He said, I'm just waiting on travel arrangements now. And so honestly, y'all, I'm not a crier. I save it all up, and then I'll cry for like days, but then I won't cry again for months, But I just sat there and almost started crying. I was so happy for this guy. Because I've just always had this thing in the back of my head of wanting to help him. I have such a heart for veterans. And so I'm just so excited. The way God worked this out, I learned about this group. I'd never heard of them before. I was watching a church service a couple of weeks ago online, and a representative from the group was speaking to that church. And so I just thought, well, cool, maybe they can help the J6ers. And so I sent an email to them, ended up talking to this man that's involved with them, that's actually the chief operating officer. And he was very receptive to what I was saying about the J6ers, really wants to help, do everything they can to help. And then I don't know why I decided to tell him about my friend, other than to say, hey, what are some resources that you can recommend? But it was just, all of that was just such a God thing to me. And again, probably like a whole lot of y'all, I want so desperately to be used. And sometimes, you know, you just kind of wonder if God's using you and if you're making a difference in the world, that kind of thing. And so, my phone's ringing. Yeah. I need to answer that. So, I may have to do this in two parts because I've already talked for 10 minutes. So I'll let y'all go for right now. Bye.